Well, that rain in the forecast could bring some relief later this week, but still many of us seeing those drier than normal conditions right now.
Here's a look at the latest drought monitor report released last Thursday. While the yellow shaded area shows abnormally dry conditions on the Minnesota side, some in Aiken, Cass, and Crow Wing counties are even in moderate drought right now.
And we've already seen this spring dry conditions mean the risk for costly wildfires, including the one burning right now just to the north of us.
Northern News Now's Kyrie Johnson joins us in studio to break down some practical steps for insurance claims, also recovery help, and how to protect your money. Kyrie.
Dan and Laura, wildfires and other natural disasters don't just threaten homes. They can also trigger a second wave of hardship, paperwork, financial stress, and scammers looking for easy targets. Minnesota's Department of Commerce says they can help before and after disaster strikes. As wildfire season continues, the Department of Commerce says its work starts before the flames, reviewing insurance policies before they're sold so Minnesotans know what's covered. And in places like Two Harbors, after the recent Stewart Trail wildfire, they're already meeting with impacted residents, helping them navigate what comes next once the flames are out.
The first thing to do would be to contact your insurance company to report the loss. Don't start the cleanup process until after you take pictures or video. A smartphone is a really easy way to do that.
And even if your home hasn't been damaged, you can prepare now.
Even if you didn't sustain damage, taking a few minutes to go through their insurance policy. So checking exclusions, knowing what your deductible is. That's the point of insurance. It's there in case you do need it.
Commerce leaders say disasters don't just bring damage. They can leave people vulnerable, and that's when scammers move in.
Unfortunately, after a disaster, people can face hardship twice as scammers sometimes descend on affected areas.
They warn against door-to-door contractors, don't sign on the spot, get multiple estimates, and pay by card or check, not cash. They say even in the chaos, it pays to slow down and stay alert.
After a storm, there can be a real sense of urgency. Make sure that you're giving yourself the time that you need to review the information and make the informed choices that are going to be best for you.
We'll have a link to the Department of Commerce disaster checklists and resources for both before and after an event on our website. Live in studio, Kyrie Johnson, Northern News Now.